And welcome to Hero Power. I'm your host, Avantes, and as always, I'm joined by my co host, Zeroshio.
I think they're calling me Zeroshi Swole now. I think in that. Hey, gang, how's everybody doing this week?
and Matt at Arms.
A turtle has made it to the water. I don't even know what
Oh,
that means, but I love the meme.
somebody is.
Nice.
Oh, have you not been playing WoW?
I haven't played WoW since vanilla. That tells you how
So
long as I've played.
there is a world quest where you have to shoot these little bursts from the scroll to knock down seagulls, and crabs, so that the baby turtles can go out of their mounds and make it to the water. And every time one gets to the water, the Tortolan says, "A turtle has made it to the water. Oh, a turtle has made it to the water." And it's just so cute. It's what I like about this expansion for WoW, and this I know this is a WoW podcast, but what I like about it is they introduced Tortolans, which actually originated in Hearthstone, and I like to see that crossover where it used to be Hearthstone Heroes of Warcraft, and now Hearthstone is going into Warcraft instead of vice versa.
Yeah, that's pretty neat to see it reciprocating lore back into the
Yep.
game. So, all right, well, we have a great show lined up for you today. Not a whole lot of news to talk about. There was a couple of tournaments that we'll get to, and a little bit of Hearthstone drama, and then
Oh yeah.
we have a really fun hunter deck lined up for you during the play portion of this show. So make sure you stick around and/or check out the VOD on YouTube or on our website. But so let's jump right into the news. That drama that I was just referencing is out of China,
hmm
of all places. And
Now, before we get into the actual tweets, uh, a lot of this originated from in the last couple weeks. There's been a lot of discussion about whether China has been forgotten as an esport by the Hearthstone organization, if Hearthstone even recognizes China as part of the global uh, competitors, where they seem to put a lot of focus on Asia Pacific and North America and Europe, and not so much on China. Now, reminder: China esports are ran by NetEase, who actually facilitates the admin and management of Hearthstone in China. They even have a different client than everywhere else in the world. So it's in Team Five's defense, they kind of have to go through that organization to get anything done over there. So I don't think a lot of the drama is directed directly at Blizzard, but just at the NetEase organization that's been running Hearthstone over in China.
okay, so I just want to point out that if I'm China, I'm not at all worried about whether or not Hearthstone is considered an esport in my country. I'm probably more worried with the 0-40 record the Shanghai Dragons have shown in Overwatch League.
And the 0-0 for whatever record for anything major in Hearthstone HCT land.
Yeah.
Well, China in the most recent time has been coming strong, but they don't finish strong. They get into like the top eights, but then they just kind of drop. Now, I tell you who is coming strong before we get into the drama is Japan. Now, Japan it was almost unheard of in APAC region, and now Japan's been getting a lot of this attention. And I wonder if some of the drama of China not feeling as if they're getting any attention might be because one of their neighbors, Japan, has been getting a lot of attention in esports for Hearthstone. Uh, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but let's just talk about some of these tweets that have been coming out of some of the Chinese players and some of
Yeah.
the drama that's resulted in it.
So, Celestial Sin tweeted, Jason Zhao announced today his permanent retirement from Hearthstone. Rumors say he was forced to leave the scene due to bad influence he caused by the criticism towards Hearthstone esports he made in July. His girlfriend Baze is allegedly also blocked in all official events. Now
And
let's make one thing clear. when they say criticisms toward Hearthstone esports in July, he's referring to events run by NetEase, not
Yes.
the Hearthstone esports division
Correct.
of Blizzard.
Exactly. Now, just to clear up a little pronunciation, it's actually pronounced Baize.
Okay.
Yeah, she actually competed in the HCT finals. Last year.
She made a championship last year. I think it was what was it? Last call?
No, it was
Fall,
I believe, because she faced Tice.
Yeah, well, they called it summer, but yeah.
What's his name? Russian dude. I'm terrible.
Kalento?
No.
I can't remember. Oh, Pavel. That's right. I do remember that. She played Pavel and did really well, in my opinion. Now, she came out and also tweeted, Baiza did, or she made a mention on Weibo. I don't understand why now again, before I finish reading this is translated from Chinese, so the English is a little broken. It says, I don't understand why I'm not representing only myself just because I'm in a relationship with Jason Zhao. I'm not legally bound to anybody. I never authorize anybody to speak for me. I am not like some part of the bundle sales. Basically, she's saying that she is being banned from Hearthstone esports only on her association with Jason Zhao, not because of anything she's done or said. And she doesn't believe that's fair because she's not legally bound. She's not married to him. They're just in a committed relationship, which I can understand her frustration with that. But at the same time, if they felt it strong enough to ban her, I know how a lot of the Chinese government is over there. Anybody associated with Jason Zhao might be implicated, and unfortunately, she's in that position. She could be associated. I don't know if her situation is she lives with him or not, and if she lives with him, I could possibly understand it. But it is a little unfair for her. Again, we live in a country that has a different set of laws and guidelines, so it's hard for us to judge whether what NetEase or the Chinese government is doing is right or wrong. Obviously in our eyes, it could be perceived that it's not fair, but they have different rights over there that are not necessarily the same as ours. Now, since then, both posts and tweets have been deleted. So clearly there's been either a resolution to this or a cut in communication based on this situation. You can't find any mention of it anywhere on the internet right now, which is not uncommon for situations out of China, that if something gets controversial, it pretty much gets wiped off the map.
They don't call it the Great Firewall of China for nothing.
That's right. Oh God. That was a good one.
You've never heard that?
I've never heard that. No.
Oh, no. The Great Firewall of China is the fact that the government tracks and only lets out what they want. It's a thing.
I get it. I just think I know it has a little bit to do with why Australia and New Zealand go through the North America servers, because their internet traffic can't pass that to the Asia Pacific as easily because of that same restrictions. Yeah. It's not as bad anymore, as Blister Guy often plays in the Asia Pacific servers and doesn't find a problem with it. But I know when they first started the regions, that was part of the issue, until China ended up actually opening up a Hearthstone environment within there. And talking about that, Matt at Arms found some information on the Chinese servers tracking capabilities for Hearthstone. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So also from Celestial Sin, he posted another tweet shortly after deleting these tweets of a add-on, and not even an add-on, just an added feature to the NetEase Blizzard code that records all your games and tracks all your stats from your Blizzard account directly. So you could be playing on your phone, you could be playing on your laptop, you could be playing on whatever you can play Hearthstone on, and pull up this website and actually find your record and replays. I believe even replays for every game you've played. Once again, China has much better technology for its player base than our country has. Because I remember it was about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, they had like an out of client in browser tournament mode.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just hoping that maybe around BlizzCon, maybe we can get something like this, because if I could play without a deck tracker and actually track my stats, I would love it.
Well, this isn't the first time something like this has happened, where NetEase and China have had additions to the Hearthstone client that we don't have that transparency or information on. Now, we have a screenshot in the show notes, or a link to the tweet that contains a screenshot in the show notes. Now, it doesn't do like an overlay like Hearthstone deck tracker where you see what you've drawn and whatnot, but it gives you very clear stats on your records and what you faced going up the ladder. And it's very good. I'd love to have something like this for the North American servers or anywhere. But I really don't. Team 5 is not. They've gotten better about transparency about the game, but I think this might be a little further than they want to delve. This takes information that is specifically on their servers they use for testing and balancing and puts it right out there. And I don't know if Team 5 will ever feel comfortable enough to do that, because right now they can say, well, the information you guys have for, your bias against Giggling Inventor or any other card for that matter, patches or whatnot, is based off of limited data that you get from third-party sites like HS Replay, where our data is exact data. And they can kind of hoard that information for internal use, and I don't necessarily blame them for that, because if they give that completely out there and make it completely transparent, then the players are just going to be like, the data is clearly there, make this change, make it now. And sometimes that data needs a little time to mature before they make a final decision. And if they did something like this for all the servers, then they're kind of handcuffing themselves for future information and future data distribution or decision making on things like nerfs or whatnot for cards or Hall of Fame rotations. And while I'd love to see something like this, I just can't imagine it ever happening.
Well, the thing is, I don't think there's a way to export that data out of that system. I think it only exists in whatever client is there, but there's no way to pull it out and to aggregate all the data together to make a version of HS Replay using that data.
Well, you can say that, but there will be somebody with a programming know-how that will find a way, because that data has to be compiled somewhere to send it. And right now, the HS Replay data can tell if a card is gifted by your opponent somehow, even though there isn't a clear way in it. So obviously there's a data file that has that people are able to tell that somebody's playing Whizbang without any clear notion that it's Whizbang. So obviously, if they can do that, if they allowed this kind of information to get disseminated out somehow, somebody's going to compile that, read the file, interpret it, translate it, whatever they have to do to get more information out of it than was intended to be given. And that's the fear that any developer has, that someone takes information that you use just for, the game purposes and gets more out of it than its intended use, like data mining. Yeah. And that's a nightmare for developers, but they do their best to try to keep that from hindering the game at all and game advancement. So I think the best way to not allow something like that to happen is just not offer this feature. I hate to say that because I would love to see it, but that's just the truth of it. As a developer, I wouldn't release this anywhere else in the world.
Okay. Well, I also would love to see it integrated into the client, just because I'm really bad about using Hearthstone Deck Tracker. Like, I have it on my machine, but I very rarely ever remember to turn it on until I'm
Mm-hmm.
about 8 games in, and then I'm like, oh well, too late at this point. So,
I never
Yeah,
turn
that's
mine off unless I
I
see the update icon. I don't turn it off.
yeah, I'm terrible at keeping stats. I play on mobile a lot too, which is even worse.
Yeah.
yeah, I play a lot on mobile too. So, all right. Well, let's talk about the major tournament we had going on this weekend. That was the EU Fall Playoffs.
Mhm.
So it was what is that? Saturday. It was Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
Yes.
September 1st and 2nd. Um, we had our top four who are going on to compete in LA later this year, and that was Renman, Moyen, Hatul.
Wait. It's pronounced Hatul. Now you go.
Hatul. And I have to say, I was really excited to see Centilal make it, as I am a big fan of his.
Okay, so
Agreed.
before we get into some of the other, funny things that happened there, Centilol had a really. I know you were busy this weekend, didn't get to watch his tournament, but I got to watch it alongside of the other tournament we'll talk about in just a minute, and because it was European, so one was in the morning and one was in the afternoon to evening, so it was really convenient. I could pretty much watch Hearthstone all day long from sun up to sundown. But Centilol had a huge roller coaster. He was doing well. He ended up losing some games to the point that he would rip his headphones off and just walk out of camera frame. And he was very, very emotional during this tournament. And I am a firm believer that you, as a competitive player, you want to leave emotions at the door and not be an emotional player. But there are always exceptions to the rules. And Centilol, in my opinion, if he wasn't so passionate and didn't get so emotional about some of these games that didn't go his way, or specific RNG moments that didn't go his way, he would not have focused enough to come back and make it into the top four. He is one of my two watch players going into the championship. If he can keep his emotions in check and manage it like he did this time, while they still affected him, he was able to manage that and harness it into positive energy. I think he could definitely go to world championships. He really did well this tournament. Even when he lost, he played really, really well.
Yeah, I definitely need to go back and try to watch some of the VODs for this event.
I tell you who I feel bad for is Hunter Ace. Hunter Ace has been on the biggest roll all season. All season, he has been just dominating all the tour stops. He finishes 8-1, I think, or he only has one loss going into the final 8, and he loses to somebody who barely made it into the top 8.
Wow.
And he's it's just like, oh God, I was rooting for Hunter Ace so hard.
Here's the thing about Hunter Ace, though, is all of Europe was rooting for Hunter Ace.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Hunter Ace had qualified top 4 in this event, then the player race would have been wide open. There were so many people that would have been vying for that top point spot. However, because Hunter Ace did not qualify, he's almost guaranteed a spot in last call as the top points earner, because he's done so well all year. So all the other European competitors wanted him to qualify top 4, so they had a chance to make it in the last call. Now most of them are pretty much like, well, there's nothing I can do. There's no way we can catch Hunter Ace. Hunter Ace is I think he's only a few points short of Masters 2-star already, and that's amazing.
Yeah, he can console himself with that guaranteed money and tour stops, and and probably making last call no problem.
Yeah, he'll make last call, no problem. And he's pretty much guaranteed 2-star master just for top legend finishes. That's all he needs.
Yeah.
He pretty much has to not play a single game of Hearthstone for the next 3 months not to make it to Worlds.
Okay, cool. So there was, as you said, another tournament going on in the afternoons this weekend, and that was the GeicoGaming Seattle Showdown live at PAX West 2018. It was.
I would have loved to be there.
I'm sure you would have. I would have loved to be. Oh wait, I was. So it was a pro-am. So on Friday, we opened registration to anybody at the convention that wanted to sign up and take their shot at it. So
Anybody
was able to just walk up. It was free to sign up and participate. And we had, when I say we had some amateurs, I was asked at the beginning of a match, a pair of opponents, both of them raised their hand, called for an admin. I come over, they go, "Hi, neither of us have ever competed before. What's a ban?"
Nice.
Now that's a pro-am.
That is a pro.
And just to be clear, Geico is the only organization. These Geico Showdown tournaments are the only Hearthstone tournament that does what is considered a pro-am. And what a pro-am is, for clarity, is you will have a group, in this case 8, invited pro players, and then you will have a pool of amateur players that vie for a number of spots to compete against those.
Particular case.
So the top 16 are made up of 8 amateurs that had to fight through 128 players, and then 8 pro players. Then your first round of those double eliminations is going to be a pro versus a amateur in the first round for every match.
Yes, that's correct. Now, as it stood in the open bracket, we only had about 27 people sign up in the amateur open bracket. So it didn't take us very long. We got through it
did seem quick
amateur bracket on day 1 and got down to the top 8. And so at the beginning of Saturday, we were able to actually start on the pro versus amateur bracket, which was where all the excitement really happened.
Yeah.
So the very first match of the day was Yoet's Flow, who
Steve.
You guys know they were calling him Steve all weekend. Funny story about that is we were given explicit instructions not to call him Yoet's Flow because Progressive is a direct competitor to Geico.
Even though Flo is a reference to his last name, which happens to be Florence, it does make sense as a brand of Geico not to have that in it. So I get it.
Yeah, so they told us to call him Yoet Steve. He hates that. He's like, please don't call me that.
Doesn't like that at all. Dr. Dick and Icky got the most flack from calling him Yoet Steve.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you a funny story about that.
Or you could just be like Cora and just be like, just call him Flo anyway. Just call him Flo.
Yeah, his last name is actually Florentino.
Florentino, that's right.
Yeah.
I was close.
And he played an amateur by the name of Nerit. Now, I spent most of the weekend with Spencer. And that's Nerit's. His first name is Spencer, and he played lots out Hearthstone all weekend long. We'll get back to him in a minute.
Yeah.
So we got through the first day. We got through all the matches we had planned to get through, including some of the losers bracket rounds. And I tell you what, it was fun seeing these guys come out and compete because the pros were there to have fun and, of course, to vie for their share of the prize pool. But the amateurs were having just as much fun.
You could see it.
Yeah, so Narrett only had a badge for Friday. He wasn't planning on going to PAX the rest of the weekend. So we had to actually get him a badge for Saturday and Sunday so he could come back just to compete.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, talking about Narrett, in his interview, he mentioned that he showed up to PAX just to kind of hang out with his friends and whatnot, didn't know anything about a Hearthstone tournament, and his friends were like, dude, you've gotten Legend in Hearthstone, you should compete. So he went and checked it out and see what it was about, and had to be convinced by the tournament organizers, as yourself, as well as his friends, to compete. And I think part of that was because he was only planning to be there one day. And so he didn't come in. He just grabbed 4 decks that he played on the ladder and threw his hands up and said, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. So he actually told me, so I had to go down and meet him on the street every morning to give him a badge to get into the conference center.
Wow.
And so we were riding the escalator up one day, and he actually told me, he was just like, had I known I was going to do this prior to just showing up and signing up, I would have brought a different set of decks.
And possibly a different set of clothes. I mean, I don't know this for sure, but if you're only planning to come to a convention once, I don't know if he lived in the area already or not.
He's a local to Seattle.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Then he had a place. Okay, good to go. I've been there. Just say it.
So yeah, no, we had a good time.
Well, maybe it's good that he didn't find out ahead of time, because if he would have put more thought into his decks, he might not have brought the lineup he did. And kind of skipping ahead a bit, Narrett ended up becoming the top amateur to compete, making it him one of 2 amateurs that made it into the top 8. Of the 8 amateurs that competed against pros, only him and one other one made it into the winners bracket. Bracket top 8.
Wayne reformed. Yeah. So
yes.
So Narrett actually finished 4th overall, which we talked about that because, like I said, he was only planning on coming for one day, and he ended up walking away with $1,000.
Wow,
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean that's not bad considering badges for PAX are $50 a day. They don't do group. They don't do like an all weekend pass. You have to buy individual passes for each day, and it's $50 a day. So,
that's crazy.
Yeah, and the other one, Wayne reformed, who ended up tied for 7th, I believe, with Shoop. Say, yeah, I tied with Shoop. That's something.
Yeah. And Shoop brought a really tight lineup, and Shoop played really well. It just tells you the level of competition at this event when a player of Shoop's caliber ends up making it tied for 7th.
Yeah.
That's good. That is some good competition.
The rundown of where everybody finished. So, as we said, the top 8 got paid. So it was Shoop and Wayne reformed. Then you had Hot Meowth. Then you had Brian Kibler. Then you had Narrett. And then in 3rd place, you had Just Saying. 2nd place, you had Yoet's Flow, who lost his very first match of the day and came all the way back through the losers bracket to finish 2nd. And then you had Terrence M winning the entire event as the only undefeated player all weekend. He did not lose a single match.
Now,
awesome.
What's really funny about this is Brian Kibler showed up, and a lot of times they will kind of do a mix of personalities and competitive Hearthstone players. Last season, PAX East ended up being Disguised Toast competed, and he was considered a personality, not so much, even though he has competed at a high level. Brian Kibler was brought in. He hasn't competed since 2016 in Hearthstone, and of course he's a Hall of Famer for Magic the Gathering. But it was expected for him to be a personality, bring some good decks. He brought his flavor of decks, but also competed really well. And while he made it into the top 8, he was defeated by Narrett just before Narrett was defeated by was it Steve ended up defeating Narrett? Was that, I can't remember who.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Steve.
Steve beat
He lost-
Barrett in the loser
he lost-
semifinals.
He lost 2-3 against Steve Yoetz Flo, who's just a top-notch player. Now, Steve also was at PAX East as a Joe, as a amateur, and he also went all the way through the losers bracket and placed second place to Amnesiac. So this is Steve's second PAX East Geico Showdown.
Well, PAX, not necessarily, yeah.
Oh yeah, PAX Geico Showdown
yeah.
that he has placed second in within a year. That is amazing. I don't want to shadow that at all. Yoetz Flo, Steve is an awesome, consistent competitor, but he did go down to Terrence M, who is having one of the best years. He's just been competing at a high level for so long, and I'm just proud to see Terrence M go from kind of hitting the map last year or 2 years ago at DreamHack Austin in 2016 at DreamHack Austin to place very high. Also is representing the Hearthstone Global Games. He's representing Team United States that competes for a possible chance into the top 16 tomorrow. And then he has time to go to PAX Prime over in Seattle and just take it all.
Yeah, no, it was good. So I just want to point out Narrett as the top amateur. He in his first round match, he defeated Steve Yoetz Flo. In his second round match, he defeated Hot Meowth. Then he lost to Hot Meowth beat Narrett, dropping him into the losers bracket. So he then beat Lead Paint, Frank.
Jeez.
Then he gets Then he gets his first match against another amateur, and that was against Wayne Reformed, and he beats him. Then he beats Brian Kibler. Then he loses to Steve Yoetz Flo. So he really had I think one of the tougher goes at it through the brackets. And
I agree.
For him to finish fourth, I think he did a fantastic job.
And there were many matches he was extremely unfavored in, or faced another lineup that was almost identical to his in the form of archetypes, a lot of aggro.
Yeah.
If Narrett does not get signed by some team to at least cover travel to get him to like DreamHacks in the United States or other open tournaments, that's a huge loss. This kid needs to be signed. Somebody needs to recognize him.
Yeah, he's very good. We talked about it. He was super nice, little cocky. After the first day in the amateurs bracket, we're riding up the elevator on Saturday morning. I know his first match of the day is against Steve Yoetz Flo. And as we're going up the escalator, he's asking me about the format, and I'm letting him know, I'm like, today's format's different because we ran two different formats for the amateurs and the pros. I said, today it's best of 5. You got to win with three of your decks. I said, it's also double elimination, so don't get discouraged, if you lose. He was like, well, I sure hope today's competition is better than yesterday's.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you're kind of on a high.
Steve right out of the gate.
And this does show you the difference between amateur competitors and pro competitors, because a amateur competitor beats somebody, and then if they get matched against them in the future, they say, hey, I'm just going to do what I did yesterday. It won me. Let's just go with it. Where a pro may have learned from his mistakes in the past and said, let me adjust. I know why I lost yesterday, so let me adjust what I banned or adjust my queue order, something like that. Rematches really decide your level of competitiveness, whether you've learned from your past mistakes, and it's just plain experience. And while Narrett did really good to beat Yoet's Flow, Steve did take those expertise that he's learned from going from amateur to pro and took that rematch. And I hope, and I think he did, Narrett learned from that lesson. And in the future, when he's ever in that situation again, he might try to switch it up a bit so that the rematch doesn't seem like another rematch.
Yeah.
You want to make it seem like a new set of matches that they're not expecting.
Yeah. So congratulations to everybody that competed. Everybody played really well. It was a great tournament. I enjoyed every minute of it. I was riveted to watching it there on the big screen in the crowd. It was so much fun. So for those
before we change topics too much, I do want to go back and point out while we're praising Narrett because of his amateur performance, Terrence M took this tournament. He is an awesome player.
Yes.
He definitely deserved the champions title, and I can't wait to see him at a future PAX, to defend that.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a great time. I want to thank everybody that came out. Friday night, I had the, how do I say this? I had the privilege of going to dinner with Bites and Root. So if you guys don't know Bites, he's the guy that does the Innkeeper cosplay at BlizzCon and stuff. Root is my co-host on the Innkeepers podcast and head innkeeper out of Orlando. He does a fantastic job down there. But then the three of us were joined at dinner by Dr. J, Lead Paint, Bob Nostum. We were joined at dinner by, who all went with us?
Was Cora there?
No, Cora had a previous, she and Ray C got a private tour of
cool
Pokemon headquarters.
Oh, that's awesome. Because I know she's very big into Pokemon.
Yeah. So Frank was there with us. Gallicott from Tempo Storm joined us for dinner that night.
Awesome.
Steve was there. Oh, and if you guys know Bloody, who's with Smash.gg.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, John Kaplan. He joined us for dinner that night, too. So we had a great group of guys on Friday night, hanging out, having a good time. And just so happened it was the last night of the season. And so Dr. J and some of the others were all sitting at the dinner table, grinding ladder while we were waiting on food. And
that's hilarious.
It was a lot of fun.
If people remember, Dr. Jikaninki is a good friend of the show. He's been on Hero Power. He's also competed in the HCT at venues that Avantis has hosted. It's just really it's neat to see the community come together. We've had a lot of support for Avantis being out at PAX, and Avantis got to meet one of his idols and kind of people that he admires so much in the card game genre, and Brian Kibler. Brian Kibler is also a Hall of Fame Magic player. Avantis did get to, has from his Magic history, has kind of looked up to Brian Kibler and got to show that appreciation and just straight up just admiration by issuing him a game loss for a simple mistake of queuing the wrong deck in the tournament.
It just goes to show that even pros make mistakes. This was so. If you watch his match against Wayne Reformed, game 3, Brian's up 2-0. He's playing his priest deck, and about, 15 or 20 turns in, he casts, what's the priest spell that lets you discover a spell in your deck?
Shadow Visions.
Shadow Visions. That he gets an inner fire?
He Shadow Visions and gets a Divine Spirit.
That's it.
Divine Spirit is not in his deck list, in his submitted deck list.
Yes.
So he kind of gets this look on his face, and you can see it happen in the video. He gets this
And he
look on his
doesn't pick
face,
it.
and he doesn't pick it. He minimizes, then brings it back, minimizes, brings it back, and he gets this like, where's this card coming from? So then he waves down a member of the production crew and says, I need an admin. And it just so happened Bots, who was the head admin on site, was on break at that particular point. So I had taken over head admin duties while he was on break. So I go up and
Live on stream, by the way.
yeah, this is all live. And so I go up beside Brian, and he's like, hey, this card is not supposed to be in my deck. And he's like, I don't know what's going on. I said, well, let's check your deck list first. So I go back to the station, grab his deck list, and bring it back. And I show it to him, and he goes, yes, that is what my deck list is supposed to be. And at that point, he goes, I might have imported the previous build of this deck before my final submitted build. And that happens, especially for people who use deck trackers and have multiple versions of a deck. It's really easy to do. And so he goes, I'm assuming the ruling for this is a game loss. And I said, you are correct that with an incorrect deck list, it is considered a game loss. And so at this point, I move in between the two players. And because Wayne Reformed has taken his headphones off as soon as Brian concedes the game. Like, what's going on? So I inform Wayne, Brian's deck list is incorrect. It's an automatic game loss, so you're going to win that game. And he goes, oh, okay. I said, and Brian's going to correct his deck, and then you guys will continue on with the match. He was fine with it. Brian fixed his deck in like 2 seconds, literally took
it was
time.
fast.
And they queued into the
Just
next.
took out the shadow vision. Or the...
Yeah, and then they queued into the next match and kept going, and that was that. But it was kind of interesting to be up there on stage during the match and have to issue a Magic Hall of Famer a game loss.
So the next day, I'm just gonna tell you part of the story for you. I'll let you carry on here a second. But the next day, you had the time to ask. Let's see. He goes ahead and walks away. I think he's going to get props for his story. You go ahead and ask Brian Kibler, hey, I've been a big fan of yours. Can I get an autograph? And he obliges. And
if you can read that, it says, thanks for the game loss, Brian Kibler.
So clearly, for those on audio, there is a signed autograph of Brian Kibler. It says, thanks for the game loss, Brian Kibler. He clearly remembered the next day. Now, Cora did mention during the broadcast that after his win over Wayne Reform, he kind of went by and said something to you. She didn't know what she said. Did he say, was it just playful ribbing or what, just him being polite or,
it was just him being polite. He just came by and he said, he just said, I can't believe that happened, but thanks, and it was he was very
That's
professional all weekend. He was super nice guy, It didn't matter, he was always surrounded by people wanting to take their picture with him, to get his autograph, even during times when he wasn't each of the players had a scheduled time to do meet and greets.
Yeah.
And when it wasn't his time, he was constantly being mobbed by people wanting to get their picture. And he was just so nice. He had a smile on his face the whole time. I don't know if they mentioned it on stream or not, but there was a documentary crew following him and Ray C around all weekend.
Oh, wow.
And we may see, I don't know when or if we'll see any of this, but Brian and Ray C used to be neighbors.
Yes.
When Brian was like a teenager, young adult getting into the Magic scene, Ray was just a little kid getting into gaming. And Ray credits Brian for being his inspiration for getting into gaming. Well, this was the first time at Geico at PAX that they've ever gotten to play against each other on stream.
wow.
That's awesome.
And so there was a documentary crew following them both around, talking about their story, and they're getting to play against each other. It was really a good time. I can't wait for that to come out and be able to see it in full.
Speaking of seeing this, I know we're getting a little long, but I got to mention, if you haven't gone to Twitch and followed Geico Gaming, definitely do that. They have great tournaments, but also go back and look at some of these VODs. Ray C actually, he played very well all weekend. He actually had a situation where he was in a Warrior mirror match. A Control Warrior
Against Shoop.
Oh yeah,
against Shoop. And they got to the point where they're trading Azalinas back and forth. Shoop's up almost to 100 total armor and health. And at one point, you see Ray C just fidget constantly, shifting in his chair, looking very awkward, very stressed, which, is kind of understandable because he was a little out of his element in a control mirror. But then you see him frantically writing stuff down, and it's assumed he's writing notes, he's taking notes of what Shoop's doing, and all of a sudden he gets this really panicked face, and he holds up a sign he had written that says, "I'm never going to the bathroom." And Cora immediately says he drank a giant iced coffee right at the beginning of his match. The iced coffee was a misplay. So finally, he pretty much was. He was going to lose a fatigue.
So
he had like 2 armor.
Little more to this.
Okay.
There's a little more to this because Cora and Bob didn't know the correct ruling for how this plays. So both of these players are at like 30 health,
Yes,
and 30 armor or more because, like you said, at one point Shoop was at like 60 armor while Ray C was only at like 30 armor. So they're both over 60 health. And they're drawing down to fatigue. They're getting close. And both Cora and Bob are casting this, and they're like, are we going to have to play this over if they get to the turn limit and both characters explode? I look up, I turn around, I'm standing at the admin booth. I turn around and look up at them at the booth, and I shake my head and say no. And then I go to the production, the head of production, and I say, let the casters know if it goes to the turn limit and both players explode, the winner will be the player with the most health plus armor, because that is the rule in Hearthstone.
And you know this because you've actually adminned the tournament where this happened.
During the Dead Man's Hand era of Warrior, those matches were notorious for going all the way to turn limit. So they actually had to institute this rule for tournaments that the winner would be declared the person with the most health and armor. So I'll let them know that, and Cora at that point goes, oh, we just got a ruling from the admin that this will end. Whoever has the most health and armor will win if it gets to the turn limit. Of course, it was at that point that Ray was just like, I'm not going to win this. Concede.
Yeah, I think Ray was down to like 2 armor. They were in fatigue, and Shoop was almost to 100. He concedes, and immediately you see the camera crew frantically try to grab a non-stationary camera and follow his actions, and he's just running down the aisle as pro players are just laughing and some jokingly trying to jump in his way to impede himself to the bathroom. He just about knocked Edwin, a hot meowth, over to get to the bathroom. Edwin stood in his way and he just pushed him out of the way.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. It just tells you that even though this is a pro-am, these pro players are there to have fun. And at the end of the day, Hearthstone, while it is very competitive, there's a lot of money on the line. It's a game, and we do it because we like the memories, and we love the stories, and we love the competitive nature of the game, and it's just fun to play.
There's a great shot of Root at the end of that as they're cutting to break. They cut back over to Root standing at Ray C's desk. He picks up the cup, and a water bottle. And Cora goes, "Oh, there was a water bottle too."
It was an empty iced coffee cup, which was like a venti, which is 20 ounces, and an empty water bottle. Oh my god, it was so much fun. And then of course later, Hot Meowth ends up losing a match, and then he goes to the losers bracket, and Ray C casts his next match and says, "They said, do you know what happened with Hot Meowth in that first round?" He goes, "Oh, he didn't eat breakfast." So they shoot a shot over there, and they get an overhead shot of Edwin, a Hot Meowth, and his whole desk is covered in crumbs from the bagel he'd been eating. And Racy's like, "Oh, that's just unprofessional." So it was just really, it was a very fun. PAX is always very fun to watch because they have so many great camera angles, and they give a little bit of freedom to the casters and the pro players to kind of have fun with the production. If you ever have a chance to watch the Geico Showdown or go to one of the PAX events, either PAX East up in the Northeast or PAX Prime over in Seattle, I would definitely implore. It's going to be on my list to go next year.
I want
It's
to
a
give
lot
a
of fun.
shout out to Waveform Entertainment, which was the production crew. Tamir and Jeremiah and his whole crew, they did a fantastic job all weekend of keeping the tournament moving, keeping the casters informed of what was going on, keeping the live stream moving. They are a skeleton crew that travel to these events. There's like 5 of them total, and they did a fantastic job all weekend. So shout out to those guys.
Which is amazing that there's 5 of them, because I think there had to have been at least 6 to 8 cameras.
Yeah,
Because there were so many different
one
shots.
camera guy.
Yeah, but how many cameras?
So you had one camera at each station, and then the camera guy.
Well, wasn't there an overhead camera? Was that the camera guy?
That was the camera guy. He
evidently
had a box on stage that he would stand up on and point the camera down.
He's an amazing camera guy because he got so many angles that I thought there were at least 6 to 8 stationary cameras. He must have been all over the place because he was really good.
There was one camera on each player station, and then him, and he did a fantastic job. Yeah.
I hate to say this because I love events like DreamHack and DreamHack does a really good job, but their production's a little different. PAX just does a great job, whether it is PAX Prime in Seattle or PAX East or any of the PAX hosted events. Whether it be Hearthstone or not, they do a great job supplying these esports teams just the access to have this good production. The Geico Showdown, in my opinion, is one of the best produced events, and like you said, with such a small crew, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's jump to our. We're going to kind of skip the Tavern Brawl section. It's
too many brawls.
It's
too many portals. We've seen it. It's random.
Rerun.
Moving on.
Too many times.
Yeah. All right. So this week's deck is BoarControl's Secret Hunter. So this deck list is as follows: 2 Dire Mole, 2 Secret Keeper, 2 Tracking, 2 Crackling Razor Maw, 1 Explosive Trap, 1 Freezing Trap, 2 Snake Trap, 2 Venom Strike Trap, 1 Wandering Monsters. Then you've got 2 Animal Companions, 1 Bear Shark, 2 Eaglehorn Bow, 2 Kill Command, 2 Houndmaster Shaw. You got 2 Lesser Emerald Spellstone. You have 1 Subject 9, 1 Deathstalker Rexar, and 1 Mossy Horror. So if you guys are looking for a really fun hunter deck, this is it. So, Matt, why don't you tell us about this deck?
Sure. So when I first brought up this deck, I just brought it just purely for the puns. And in fact, it's a Subject 9 deck. And Subject 9 is probably one of my favorite cards in this set. But when I got to playing with it, I was expecting kind of more of a Spell Hunter style. I wasn't expecting actually more of a just straight up mid-range, control the board, then SMorc Hunter deck.
I've won games on turn 5 with this deck.
yeah, this deck can go fast if it's gonna happen. And quite honestly, the secret package of the 2 snake traps, 2 venom snake traps, have probably been like the biggest MVPs for me. You try to play those for tempo as much as possible, and getting a 3 mana or getting a 3 mana card for 2 mana, or 2 3-mana cards for, or 3 1/1s for 2 mana that just completely disrupt their game plan is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm a big Secret Hunter fan. I'm the guy that crafted Cloak Huntress in gold because I love that card so much. So and I never craft anything in gold. So this is one of those decks that is just a ton of fun to play. It's very much early game board control into go in and start swinging face late. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've played this deck. I'll be honest, I'm sitting right at 7 wins, 7 losses, so I'm right at 50% with this deck. I haven't lost any stars, but I haven't gained any stars. I love Spell Hunter, and this plays a lot like Spell Hunter, but does have bursts that Spell Hunter just cannot do. So in that, I like it. I did try to make my own version of this, where I took out 1 snake trap and 1 venom strike trap to put in an extra wandering monster and an extra explosive trap to get a little bit more punch. But I actually had less than a 50% win rate with that build. So I think this is the right build. It just takes practice to time things. Now, there is some RNG in it. Depending what you get out of Wandering Monster can really decide if you're going to have a really quick, game that ends in 5 or 6 turns. Bear Shark, sometimes I want 2 of in the deck because it's just so strong early game. Seriously. And especially against Zoo Warlock, they can't Soulfire it. And they want to Soulfire it. They don't want to run their minions into it. Sometimes you'll get a 2-for-1 because all they have are 2 attack minions on the board, and they have to clear it.
Yeah, that and the ability for Deathstalker or XR to change the pace of the game to, okay, you're fighting for board control. Now Deathstalker or XR comes down, and then now you can just grind whatever out. It's one of those. It's probably the card that makes any Hunter deck work right now.
Yeah, so I built this deck and I played it quite a bit. Saturday night and Sunday night in the hotel, and I'm in the upper teens, of course, and this deck was causing my opponents to just freeze. So like I would play 2 or 3 secrets and have nothing on my side of the board but the secrets, and they wouldn't attack. They would just sit there and play something and pass, or hero power and pass, but they would never ever attack me. And that gave me multiple opportunities to just build up a board and just destroy them with this deck. So it's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to playing it here in just a minute. I do believe that's going to wrap for us this week. If you are joining us on Twitch or YouTube, stay tuned as we check this deck out live. If you are listening via the audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. You can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers, or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you'd like to help support and improve it, you can do so by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. We will see you all again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power.
All right, gentlemen, did we decide who was driving this week?
Either you or me, whichever you want to do. It's me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready to go when you guys are.
All right.
See if I can find a worthy opponent.
So while you're queuing up, one thing I was considering is I like the possibility of putting in secret plans. And I know there's a lot of ways to get your secrets in this deck, but secret plans gives you that kind of, sometimes you just want snipe, but you don't want a main deck snipe. Is that a possibility to make room for something like secret plans?
I would almost take out the freezing trap personally.
So
Okay.
for those who might not know what Secret Plans is, why don't you?
It's a 1 mana spell that allows you to discover a secret, and a lot of times you can get snipe, and snipe's really good in certain matchups, especially against Odd Rogue, which is a tough matchup with this deck, when they can bring out Henge Clan Thug on, say, 4 or 3.
All right. So this mulligan, I know I have 3 secrets in my hand. I'm thinking about just pitching the freezing. Because Dire Maul on 1 against a Paladin is really good.
Oh, yeah. And Explosive Trap on 2 is fabulous.
Actually, I have like Wandering Monster on 2. Explosive Trap when they decided to go a little bit wider.
That's fair. That's fair. I like both.
Ooh, Subject 9. Sweet.
This curve is gorgeous. We might even Subject 9 on 4.
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking coin Subject 9, absolutely.
So this is obvious Dire Maul, right?
Yeah, easy. And this is not an odd Paladin. Okay.
No, there is a Control Paladin out there, and that's what this is.
Okay. I just like poking face. And do you guys want to set up the Wandering Monster?
I don't hate that.
Yeah, I like that. Because we can follow it up with Venom Strike Trap, and if he attacks into face with whatever he plays this turn, we'll also get, maybe not, Devil's Sword Egg.
Okay.
That kind of confuses
Paladin?
me. Yeah, but why would you put Doomsayer and Egg Paladin?
That's weird. I am at rank 5, so it's like anything goes here.
Could be, yeah. The rank floor is crazy. I played Murloc.
I wish I had
Mage the other
Spellstone,
day.
but might as well do Venom Strike here. Venom Strike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if he tries to buff up the egg and attack with it, but I just don't see that happening on 4.
Yeah. Mossy's kind of nice to have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Coin Subject 9, just like we said, I think.
I think so. I'd love to develop Secret Keeper, but we don't really want to put an Explosive Trap down.
1, 2, 3.
We're not going to fill up, are we? No, okay.
No, we're good. The only thing I have left in here is a Snake Trap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've drawn most of your traps now.
And the reason you have some of the one-of traps is so you don't overdraw as easily. That was good. That's weird that he decided to bump the 4-3 with the 1-4. Does he have a clear here?
Maybe.
Or
They
is
put
he
him on a
gonna
stall a
cube
little
that
bit.
egg?
Might cube it. It's fine, I can freeze it then.
No. Okay.
I just don't know why he would make that trade. That's a weird value trade.
I'm thinking about just popping his egg now with the kill command.
That's what I'm thinking. You kill the 1-4, you pop the egg, then you kill the 5-5 with your snake.
Mm-hmm.
No, or you can kill the 1-4, kill the egg with your snake, and then kill command the 5-5.
Yeah, that's
That way you keep.
Yeah, or I keep. Yeah, so I keep the. Yeah.
Yeah. That way you keep the Cobra. Then we just hero power.
Yeah. Because we have board control right now. Then he
I
can
don't-
probably
Yeah, I don't want to develop another secret
until we get Spellstones.
That
Yeah.
and develop the secret keeper the same turn.
I really need. This deck kind of really revolves around Spellstones, which is
Right.
So Ziliax is going to clear the Cobra, which makes sense.
it's fine.
Value trade on the 4. He must be afraid to go face. Ooh. Can we get Divine Shield off that?
Or
Can try.
+3 health.
Yeah,
That would
either
work
or.
too. Or even the hatchling
There's
dude.
Divine
Divine
Shield.
Shield.
Yeah.
Living Spores would have been my third option.
Develop the bow here, and then
So now,
The question.
do we use the bow to clear instead?
I'm thinking about use the bow to clear the 3-2 and just leave the 1-1 for now.
Yeah. I don't hate that at all. Do we go ahead and develop the Secret Keeper to make him have another threat?
Could. I'm not worried about it.
I mean, he can't kill it outright. He'd have to invest something else from his hand.
Yeah, like
It
consecration.
gives him
or
more
something.
threats to maybe not worry about the 4/1 with Divine Shield.
It's fine.
Ooze, okay. Yeah, it might have punished the consecration. I didn't think about that. But he didn't have the consecration. Interesting.
All right.
Do we need to try to tracking for Rexar?
Either tracking for Rexar or Spellstone.
Well, we won't want to Spellstone this turn because we can't pop the. I don't think we can pop Doomsayer without Rexar, right?
Well, we
kill
could.
Command.
Well, we could tracking for whatever we want.
Oh, we
Mossy
have
board
Mossy.
this board, and
Yeah.
then trade out the 3/3 and go face with the 4/1.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Let's tracking first.
Secret Keep. Animal Companion is probably my best bet here.
Yeah, but I think we go with the Mossy horror play. We don't need to pop a shield. No, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this trade. That keeps that plays well around consecration.
Yeah,
Mhm.
preserving that divine shield. There's that Mechano egg.
That's right. I'll freeze it. I'm going to freeze it.
So we want to clear the 1/1 first, right?
Let me tracking first.
Okay.
Still looking for those spell stones.
Yep. Ugh, that sucks.
Dang
But
I
it
got
works.
both of them in one. Yeah.
That's fine. I'm going to clear
So
out
we
the
clear
1/1.
the 1/1. This
We're
plays
freezing.
around. This plays around. Steed, right?
Yeah, or Steed, or like War Gear or anything that will do that. I'm
So we're
thinking
going
Animal
face.
Companion Hero Power.
I like it.
Yeah, it's always tougher.
Yeah.
Always Huffer. That's good. That's 8 damage. 10 damage with the hero power. So
And this is a drawback of magnetic. If he magnetizes his minion and it gets freezing trapped, he doesn't get both minions back. He only gets the egg back to his hand.
Right. Meanwhile, we can pound his face for 10 more damage, 12 more damage next turn.
And he's been making some weird, awkward trades. So I'm wondering if he's going to have some trouble playing around this.
That card in the middle's from Stonehill.
Yeah. She's not even considering that.
Oh, he's poking at it a little bit. Uther, okay.
Uther.
wow.
So maybe he Uthers the face to test. So he's using Uther to test for a trap. But he has no way to attack with the egg. Okay.
I'm thinking just Venom Strike.
Venom strike.
Venom Strike.
Venom and Snake. And
Or-
then
Spell stone.
No, I just do Spellstone and Hero Power.
Yeah, I agree.
oh, well, Spellstone's already up to 4. Okay. I
Yeah.
thought it needed one more. I'm sorry.
I really wish I had Rexar at this point, quite honestly, though. Though we are presenting lethal,
Yeah.
more or less.
And we have lethal on board.
He can heal for 5, though, so.
Well, if he heals for 5, he goes to face,
We
right?
still have the kill command to negate the heal.
And we
Yeah.
we also have a wandering monster, which will take away some from the heal.
That's one way to do it.
And this way he can pop his egg. I mean,
No, he
obviously we
can't.
know it's going to go back to his hand, but this is the way he thinks he can pop his egg. Okay, so he doesn't have like a consecrate. That egg's going to go back to his hand. He did get quite a bit of healing from that. We do have to clear that 2/2 though, right?
I'm not worried about it yet.
Well, he can't
He
bounce
can
and all
avoid
that
it,
in
yeah.
one turn. We just gonna pressure face?
Yeah, I think we just explosive trap and pressure face.
Do we hero power and kill command just to get?
I kind of want to wait on the kill command.
Okay.
I agree.
Do we develop the snake trap now? No, because
No, there's
our
no board
board's almost
space.
full. Yeah,
I mean, I think explosive and the wandering's just fine.
I think you're right. We got him really low too. He only has 1 charge left on his weapon. That's only a max 5 healing.
He's gonna if he swings face, that's 2 damage plus whatever
Wandering
gets
monster.
out a wandering monster is, which is
Go big, go
a
big.
4/4.
Yes!
Holy,
So he only heals for 1.
yeah. No, he
loses 1 now because of the trap. Yeah, that's it.
unless he can clear my board, which he can very much do at 10 mana. Whatever.
Harrison doesn't do anything.
It's 3 cards for him that he can't do anything with.
Consecration's what he needs.
Pyro quality.
Oh,
Okay,
wow,
that works.
Pyro.
Pyro equality.
That'll do it. Yeah.
I just want Bear Shark, I think.
We need a beast for... No, wouldn't be lethal, will it?
No.
Houndmaster Snake Trap?
Yep.
Now he's on a clock.
Yeah, I really don't care about his board.
So is this straight control or is this some kind of OTK?
I think this is just a straight control.
Because I haven't seen any Brewmasters or anything to say it's OTK.
Whatever.
So Bear Shark lethal? There we go. That'll do it.
Easy peasy.
Well, we had a 50% of our deck was beasts, so we had likelihood
Bear Shark, a Crackling Razor Maw, and a Dire Mole left in the deck, and 2 Houndmasters. So yeah, we were.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, the Houndmaster doesn't count, but yeah, we were in good shape there.
Yeah, 3 of our 6 cards were all beasts, so that definitely was good. One more?
Absolutely.
Let's make this a 2-0 and call it a night.
It's not like it's like Odd Warrior where we're just playing this forever.
Oh my gosh. Odd Warrior, so I've got a positive win rate with it, but I just feel so drained when I play Odd Warrior.
All right, Druid. I want to hold on to Deathstalker Rexar, I think.
I wasted 2.5 hours of my time. I'm just going to go to WoW and do dailies.
I kind of like this entire. I don't know, the Eagle Horn Bow. I think I can pitch. I think I want to hold on to Rexar in this matchup.
I like holding on to Rexar if he's possibly a token, because that may be the turn that he turns his tokens on, and that'll help us.
Ooh, Bear Shark's nice.
Plus the 2 damage a turn, it really does nothing.
All right, so we just throw out the girl.
I wish it was a Dire Mole.
Yeah, I do too, but she's pretty good too.
Bear Shark's good in this matchup too. You get him on curve on 3, he can't swipe it. He ends up having to face tank it because he can't. I almost wish there were. I almost wish there were 2 Bear Sharks in this deck.
I do too. I'm almost like. It's like I'm trying to figure out what I would cut for it. And I don't even know. Maybe the Razor Maw. One of the Razor Maws. Yeah, easy Bear Shark on 3. Razor Maw on 2 with hero power, or on 4 with hero power. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing he can really do is either hero power or ramp.
We want to burst out as much damage as we can, but we want to be conscious when he gets to spreading plague turns, which is now 1 turn less. So he's going to make a value trade here. I hope we draw any trap. No trap, okay.
No traps, that's fine. I like Wind Fury.
Wind Fury is great. Hero power. This is what, 12 damage. Wow.
You said this deck was fast. It can be fast.
It can be. I mean, we're looking at a possibility of a turn 5 win.
Yeah, he's facing down lethal right now.
So that's 8 from the Bear Shark. That's lethal.
Turn 4.
Yeah. I mean, we had it on 5, but he could see it on 4. Wow. 2-0.
2-0, just like
one
that.
more?
Let's do one more. That was fun.
Yeah, let's sneak one more in there. We got time.
Don't worry, Zeroshio. We'll get you out in time for Big Brother or whatever.
Big Brother's already on.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Not like I'm
Yeah,
watching
I'll
or
watch
anything.
it on the DL tomorrow.
All right. Warlock. I've not faced that many Warlocks. Ooh, Spellstone's good. I want to hold on to Freezing Trap just in case it's an even Warlock. Same with Vending. I want to hold on to everything but the tracking, I think.
Yeah, and it is a trap to want a tracking on one. I like that. You really want to track.
Late.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a Subject 9. That's pretty good. Yep, even Warlock. Okay. And the Freezing Trap feels good then. The only thing I'm worried about now is Hellfire, which he might have.
That was a great top deck.
Yeah, I'm good at this.
So he doesn't have the coin, so we won't see Giant until 4.
4. Yeah, so I'm thinking Venom Snake.
Yeah,
Strike.
I like Venom here. He doesn't have coin, so he can't Hellfire. But I do.
Go ahead.
I do like Freezing Trap next turn to play around him throwing down a Giant.
Yeah, 100%. Because the way he's tapping, I think he either has that
or Drake.
Ooh.
I think we want Okay, my question is: do we want a Houndmaster next turn to set up for a Emerald Spellstone, or do we want to coin Emerald Spellstone next turn? Does that play too much into Hellfire?
That kind of plays a little into Hellfire. I mean, I'm perfectly fine with playing it on 5.
The problem is if we play Animal Companion, if it's Huffer, it plays right into Hellfire.
Yeah.
But if we play Freezing Trap, we're 1 out of Hellfire range.
I like it. I like Freezing Trap. And it puts us setting up for the Giant that he's about to drop.
Yeah. Giant or Drake. One of the two are coming down.
And then we could either coin. Yeah, there's the Drake. That's fine.
Now, I like Houndmaster here because it doesn't play into Hellfire. He'll have a hard time removing it with Freezing Trap up. And we could possibly get some crazy charging Wolves next turn.
Yeah. And I'm glad we got the second Spellstone already. That's great.
Yeah. And with Subject 9 in our hand.
Yeah.
So our reload is set. So we can dump other cards now.
Mm-hmm. Now he's going to...
Oh, and he'll burn it. If he attacks first, he burns it.
Yeah.
I think he attacks in the shell planning to Hellfire. He can't tap. If he wants to Hellfire, he can't play anything else.
So now he's going to just... Oh, okay.
He's just going to hold.
That's fine.
This is fine because he plays into Hounds, right?
Yeah, 4 Wolves.
Play the Emeralds. Yeah.
3, 6, 9.
Doesn't really... It's not a clean trade. We got to put all 4 Wolves into the 4/10. I hate that.
I don't think we should. I think we should.
Well, if we don't, we play into Hellfire, right? Or into Defile.
Yeah. So we do all 4 Wolves, and then no, there's no good trade.
No, it's not really. We got to trade something. We got to at least trade the Wolves off.
Yeah, at least 2 of the Wolves.
And then put the other 2 into the Drake to set up for Deathstalker?
Could.
I just hate that he's pretty much going to get... He's probably going to get a Sun Fury back to his hand.
That's fine. It's 4 mana Sun Furies.
Yeah, he set that up. I think he really does have Hellfire in his hand, though. Yeah, that's good. I think he hellfires though. I think he hits Shaw and he hellfires. Still leaves up the 3-1. He doesn't like that either. He could defile. Yeah, there's defile.
We put himself at 14. Okay. We subject 9 here.
Do you want tracking first, or are we going to tracking at all?
Well, tracking after we subject 9, so we get better options.
That's true. That's true. Okay. This is an exception to the normal rule of draw first. Wandering Monster will be good.
I think Houndmaster's our best bet here.
Yeah, because we know we're not going to see Giggling Inventor because this is even.
We're at 9. Okay.
Taking that damage.
I'm thinking at this point we just hero power every turn.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you.
Maybe
Drawing the kill command. Well, yeah. Still. There's Bear Shark. Do we, yeah, Bear Shark Houndmaster?
And then, yeah, I like it.
And that's it. I'd love to weave in a hero power or a trap,
Secret.
but
Yeah.
Venom Strike would be great. And there's the Hellfire.
Jeez,
We had it.
Yeah, sometimes you just lose. That's fine.
Oh, and he had the
And the bubble, yeah. And the,
yummies right there. This is proof that you quit when you're ahead, guys.
exactly.
When you got those 2 wins, but you know what, I'm going to go take a sandwich break.
I like Venom Strike here.
Yeah, I do too.
And Snake.
I don't see why not.
And then just punch his face.
If he defiles after he pops a snake trap, it's, I mean,
It's whatever.
It'll hurt him more anyways.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. Not ideal, but the Venom Strike's going to be good. I'd love
Now we
to
have
see
a
it.
board again.
And he won't want to defile this. But I mean, he could Hellfire, but that's playing with fire. Oh.
Oh, you suck. Okay, yeah, we just lose. Unless, can I get...
I don't think. I don't think there's a way to raise them all.
Options are.
I just don't see us having a chance to win. Now, do we coin out Houndmaster?
That's what I'm thinking.
Second taunt? Oh,
Let's make a big one. Yeah, I probably should have done a second one, but
I think I would have liked the second taunt. I mean, it would have been easily traded into by the bubbles and yummies. It plays around Spellstone more. But I think he would have had it anyways.
exactly.
Yeah. Trade Spellstone would have done it. So it was 6 of one, half a dozen the other.
This is
Okay.
why you
There you
quit
go.
where you're head.
Yeah. But it's still fun and it's fast. You can get a lot of games in with this deck. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
good deck to climb with. So all right, guys, that's going to do it for us this week. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Do us a favor, if you haven't done so already, and hit that subscribe button below on YouTube or give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted when we go live. For more details about the patron-only Discord, check out patreon.com/heropower. And until next week, good gaming.
Bye, guys.
Laters.